do you mean, yeah?
If we have nothing else to talk about except for the Wolverine, then I suppose we can do that.
We're required to talk about the Wolverine. It's contractually. Hey, we're two fat guys.
And we just watched The Wolverine. It's just it. Doesn't have another subtitle.
No, it's just
The Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah.
Thanks, Hollywood naming conventions.
To be fair, I mean, what are they going to do? They don't want to do X-Men Origins Wolverine 2, because it's not really an origin story, and also that first movie...
Yeah, they don't want to attach themselves as much as they have to the first
Yeah, which is why they didn't call X-Men First Class X-Men Origins or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because they're not stupid. The Wolverine, it is the overwhelming comment I have for this is a largely forgettable movie. It's just...
And I would add to that, largely unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Well, the plot is unnecessary.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hear me out. No, the plot's unnecessary, but they did a really cool thing, because I didn't know this going in the first time I saw the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool to discover, and it made me appreciate at least parts of the movie. They sort of used the plot as a device of him getting over the death of Jean.
Yes, yeah, as far as that.
That is, I mean, obviously he needed to do that to move on, so you don't have to be like, shouldn't you be moping about Jean? Like, you had
That's
to kill
true.
her.
If we had to have Days of Future Past with mopey Wolverine,
yeah, you can't have that.
Good.
But it's...
We're already going to have mopey young Xavier.
Yep. So it's...
And mopey old Magneto.
So that was actually pretty cool. Like, that was a really smart move. That was one of the better things they did. Other than that, though, not a whole lot. Like, it just sort of comes out of nowhere. He gets quickly attached to these characters that I don't feel ever get established in a way to make us care about them. So then it's confusing as to why he cares so much about them. And it's... Yeah, the only good part is him getting over Jean, and then the mid-credit scene is fantastic, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, it's really happening.
Yeah, I mean, but it's less a final credit scene to this movie and more like a preview of Days of Future Past. It's...
Yeah.
You know... Yeah, it doesn't tie into this movie at all. It takes place 2 years later.
Yeah, so let's just, I'm just going to run through some characters here, and we can just talk about our opinions of them. So, let's start with Venom? Viper, and she is just a largely unnecessary...
Yeah, she is definitely unnecessary.
Well, first off, they use Viper, who's a character from the comics, but they decided to give her just a random series of powers that she does not have.
Yeah, they turned her into a mutant.
Yeah, I don't know if they had some weird rights deal where they, like, only get so many names from Marvel, and that was one of them, so, like, well, we gotta use these names.
Possibly. At least one bit that I read online said that in some comics she was married to the Silver Samurai.
Oh,
so it's probably a package deal. Like, here's some of the Japan characters. Take these.
I could see that, but then why? I guess, yeah. So it's weird, and so they make her a mutant, which is fine. You know what? Having a mutant, but then they give her like these weird reptile / venom powers.
Yeah, which again aren't
necessary.
Really used. She could have just killed those people. She didn't have to be.
Yeah, she could have been. She could have been like, because she starts off as the Doctor, and like, oh man, the Doctor's secretly the best ninja of all. That would have been a good reveal. Not, oh, she's a Venom woman, and also she's kind of a reptile, and she just shed her skin, and now she's bald.
Yeah.
And yeah, not surprising. You found out that they were originally trying to get Jessica Biel for it, but then she declined. So I can definitely see like writing a role like...
Good call, Jessica Biel.
Like, because we're racist and there are no big-name young Japanese actresses in Hollywood that are going to, like, draw the crowds, Viper really feels like a role they wrote and, like, okay, we'll put a pretty white face in this role and then people come see the pretty white lady.
Yeah, as sad as that is, that sounds 1,000% accurate.
Because, like you say, like, well, there are other female roles. You could have put some face in those, but, I mean, I'm sorry, America's racist and, like... and on top of my head, there's no one that's at least a box office draw. Like, there are obviously actresses, young Asian actresses, but there's no one that's like, oh my god, she's in this movie, we have to go see it.
Yeah.
Because we're a racist people.
Yeah, I was like, like Lucy Liu, but she's not exactly a box office draw.
I mean,
people like her, but...
No, Lucy Liu I think would qualify as a big enough name, like a name to throw on a poster, but I think she's older than they would want at this point.
Well, that's true.
Because we're thinking of like 2000 Charlie's Angels Lucy Liu, not like 2013 Elementary Lucy Liu.
That's true. Yeah, and she was super busy with Elementary.
Elementary, my dear Shabatskin. All right, it's from How I Met Your Mother. I've been watching a lot of it lately. Just roll with it. So Viper is just this terrible character that they threw in there so they could throw a white name on it, and then it backfired because she turned him down. They got some random Russian woman that no one cares, and she wasn't that great of an actress.
She's not that good.
I mean, it was bad writing, but then also she did nothing to help it. So I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it. Okay, so then there's the two like main Asian women. There's the daughter, the granddaughter rather, like of the patriarch family that we're focusing on. She did good for what she had to work with. Like, it was very poorly written. She, like, Wolverine quickly gets attached to her, and it's kind of creepy, because first off, Wolverine's, what, 200? 150? So that's never not going to be creepy. But he gets attached to her very quickly. They give her the moment when, like, oh, she's the one who kills the grandfather when she realizes how evil he is, and she actually has a pretty good line where she says about, I buried my grandfather or whatever. So there are some good moments, but it's just a largely forgettable role that's just poorly written, and she does what she can with it.
And again, that applies to pretty much this entire movie. Like, nice moments, but no substance, nothing to make us care. Which, again, is better than a lot of the sort of aggressively bad movies that we've seen in the past from all the
although I believe we've also been quoted in our marathon saying the worst thing a movie can be is boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The other Asian one, however, like the sort of J-pop emo girl, like they weren't trying to make a stereotype, but they like threw in enough elements. Like, okay, American will recognize her as like Japanese girl.
Yeah. I liked her.
I liked her acting. I liked sort of the role she filled. However, they overused her, and they had
towards
her
the end. Yeah.
Towards the end, like they had her in the storming the castle, and they had her help in the actual last fight. And I'm like, it's Wolverine versus ninjas. Just let me have this.
Yeah.
And they fucked that up even somehow. So this is not a case of like X-Men Origins where Wolverine, where it was like a great, 3/4 of a movie that just got crapped on at the end. This is just sort of like about the same quality throughout, and
just kind of meanders.
Kind of missed the mark. Like didn't really have a purpose. I don't know. Like they had the idea, like, oh, people really like the comic series where he's in Japan. Like they knew that.
Yeah, and it's a big part of Wolverine's history. But...
and I feel like okay, we're gonna do a movie like that, and then I think by the time they really got going, like that. I'm sure the idea for Days of Future Past had to be kicked around, like, while this was in production. It really just feels like this movie is just, whatever. We got to put one out every 3 years just to make some money and keep it going, remind people...
Keep the rights.
Remind people that the X-Men are a thing.
I did like the opening scene, where Wolverine saves the young Japanese soldier from...
Yeah, no, that's actually really great.
Just as a concept, and I thought it was executed really well.
Yeah, and they keep flashing back to that because he's the old man that calls it back. So they flash back to it several times, and they try to make it like a lot more symbolic than it used to be. But that sequence was really cool. That was one of the good ones.
Which almost to the rest of the movie's detriment, because I remember watching that and I was like, oh man, I like where they're going with this. They're really setting this up, and then it never quite delivered where I wanted it.
And there are also a few moments where I feel like, okay, someone involved in production knew like what a good picture would be, but then they didn't know how to get from picture to picture, because like Wolverine's like in this picturesque Japanese town, these snow-covered buildings, these slanted roofs, these sort of ninjas creeping over top of them, and then Wolverine just standing in the street in his Wolverine-ass clothes. And I was like, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
And then the Japanese girl comes in like a bulldozer, and he's like surfing it down the street and like fighting off people on the roof of it and slipping. I'm like, it's the stupidest thing ever. Okay, and then also then the next street, they have all the ninjas shooting with the arrows and cords on it. Like, it actually objectively looks kind of cool. Like towards the end when he's sort of arched back and he has the cords pulling from him, but it makes no sense how he got there.
You're right.
I'm like,
leading up to it is pointless.
It's pointless.
It's just to get that last shot, which is arguably
a cool shot, but
it's cool. But maybe work a little harder on selling that moment before trying to deliver on it. I mean that's about all I have to say about this movie.
I do want to say that there are some frightening prospects in this. In that apparently there's a way to transfer someone's mutant power to someone else. Like, they firmly established in this film that, hey, we can take Wolverine's healing factor and give it to this guy. And now, there's a couple points I want to bring up. So if they were correct, and they can actually, like, remove it from Wolverine so he no longer has it, and give it to a new person, like, that has a lot of really big consequences that need to be dealt with in the X-Men universe. If, however, it is the sort of thing where they found a way to tap into it, and then, like, through whatever machine they have, like Wolverine's healing power is healing other people's bodies, that also should have a huge impact. And Wolverine is kind of honor-bound to go around and cure everyone's cancer. Unlike Reed Richards, who is a dick, as the comics know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, could you stop inventing flying forward section cars and cure cancer?
No, this is awesome.
God damn it. So I hope they at least... I mean, I know they have Days of Future Past, and they're not going to. I know for a fact they're not going to, but I hope if they ever get back to a, like, present-day Wolverine, which I don't think they will, based on some stuff Hugh Jackman said.
But I'm sure if they dangle enough money in front of him...
That's true. That's something they have to deal with. And that at least could be something. Like, holy shit, that could maybe take this kind of, movie and at least have it grow into something pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you can take any mutant power, because that'd be pretty sweet. And then the, I guess...
It just becomes Sylar versus Peter from Heroes.
Mm-hmm. And plus, they didn't do it in a terrible way like the end of X-Men Origins Wolverine, where like, yeah, we just took all your mutant powers and gave this guy.
Jammed him in.
Like, yeah, we just did it because we can. Like, we don't need to explain how, or it wasn't difficult, we just did it. Like, because obviously you wouldn't just give everyone Wolverine's healing power, and then... that stupid movie. That stupid ending. Still is sour taste in my mouth. Unlike this one, which is just sort of meh. It has some cool moments. A lot of Act 2 just goes on too long, leads nowhere, and is pointless. There's an extra samurai.
Yeah, we did watch the extended edition, but I don't know how much that added. Or,
there's the extra samurai fight, which I think is unnecessary, which really only exists, I think, to give a cool sequence. Once again, a couple cool shots in that, but leading up to it's pointless. Like Tim shouting, "I'm the Wolverine." They were like, "What kind of monster are you, the Wolverine?" That's about all that come out of that fight, is that little exchange.
And then again, a cool picture after it when Wolverine has been fully skewered by a sword, and then he just pulls it out of himself with a raining nighttime scene behind him. But yeah, that's about it. Coming up after this, we have Thor 2. Mm-hmm. Will be our next one, and then we'll be getting into stuff that's actually coming out at this time of year.
After doing Frankenstein.
Oh, shit.
We keep forgetting about Frankenstein because we forgot about it when it first came out, and we didn't realize it was...
Not
in our defense, Wikipedia has several different articles where it shows you what movies are based on comic books, and they don't all agree, and also there are missing things.
And also, I Frankenstein is from Mary Shelley, obviously.
So
it's the Mary Shelley, Isaac Asimov.
Okay, fine. Then
book.
Two fat guys do a marathon of everything based on books. That'll.
Oh, that. Jesus Christ. Hey, Princess Bride.
A fate worse than death. Hey, that's what you take out of that.
We'll make sure we read the books right before, and then just every video is just, well, the book was better. Except for apparently Princess Bride. I've heard from multiple sources that the movie is actually better than the book.
Have you heard from multiple sources who have read the book?
Yes.
Okay, I don't trust them. Well, that's fair.
No, and they said the book is great, but because the movie was also written by
no, it's written by the same guy,
same author.
But I feel like Princess Bride, one of those movies that people like oh my god, it's Princess Bride. I can't.
Yeah, because it's Princess Bride. Have you seen Princess Bride?
Have you read Princess Bride?
No.
I have seen Princess Bride. I just want to make that clear. So no one's like, oh my god, Brenda's seen that. But I like that I proposed to watch like hundreds of thousands of movies, and you're like, hey, Princess Bride.
Let me have this.
Okay, fine. We also get to watch Aragon.
I can't wait for the sequel.
Any day now.
That they've set up.
Any day now it's coming.
John Malkovich.
You totally fucked up. You had John Malkovich as your villain, and you fucked up. And your book was Star Wars. Star Wars is a very successful movie. I don't know how you fucked up Aragon.
All right, that's it for this.
Please
catch us for Thor 2.
You clearly cut long ago. None of that whole last section's making it.
It might.
It's never going to make it. None of this will ever be on the internet, Sam.